Welcome back to Weebology, everybody. I am your caveman professor, Ricky.
And I am your normal professor, Ethan.
I have gone clinically insane during this quarantine.
He has. I can verify.
I am not shaving. I'm barely bathing. And I'm barely surviving. I am essentially dead to the world, both personally and socially. It hurts, Ethan. This hurts me in my soul.
It's honestly rough to see you like this.
I thought as a weeb I would be prepared for this situation, but at the end of the day, I am not even close. I'm not even close to prepared for this. And there's so much anime to watch. Like I'm not sad at the amount of anime I have at my disposal to watch. It's just I have realized how much of my introversion has been offset by my routine of extroversion, going to the office, going to the gym, going out in public. But now that every day and every night is in the same room, in the same apartment, it's like a cage, Ethan.
See, for me, it's like, go out in public? Ew, no thanks. Talk to people? I'm good.
Are you saying it was always like that?
Oh, yeah.
So you're always, this is just a kind of an official, federal, even statewide, sanction saying, Ethan, you're right. Stay inside. You can ew the public. It
just kind of seems like clearly I had the right idea all along.
Actually, you kind of had the right idea all along.
I will say, not being able to get toilet paper is a bit of a bummer.
Have you actually not been able to get toilet paper?
No.
So I ordered sushi about a week ago. And
this absolutely baffles me what he's about to tell you.
I got sushi, couple rolls, maybe 3, but I got an extra roll, a roll I was not expecting. And I got a toilet paper roll, and it came inside of the bag because I'm assuming that the restaurant that I ordered from isn't obviously having people in, so they have just a abundance of toilet paper, aka paper gold, and they just gave it to me in my order in the bag, and I'm loving it, dude. I'm loving this.
Yeah, it's just like that was a loud ding on my old comp there. I'm gonna go ahead and quickly turn that off, but I'm just saying honestly, the gall of people buying like 50 rolls of toilet paper. It's like, dude, do you really think you're going to use all 50 before they can replenish it?
I think the virus that shall not be named, given YouTube is actually cracking down on monetization on that, so whatever. But
is
the virus,
humankind.
the Kung Flu, if you will,
oh, no.
Is basically...
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Basically, it doesn't make you shit uncontrollably. That's not a symptom, by the way.
All.
So buying toilet paper is actually not something you want. Purell, okay, I can see it. It makes sense. Hand sanitizer, buy that. Keeps your hands clean, keeps your face clean. I don't know where you're putting it. Keeps whatever part of you clean. But toilet paper, that's not a symptomatic response to this disease.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
don't understand.
It's pretty bonkers. I think I have like 1 or 2 rolls left. But I do have an insane amount of paper towels, so I'll be okay regardless.
More surface area, more rugged, more texture to grab the shit with. I think, honestly, paper towels might be your way to go.
Oh
so
my
from
God.
your professors,
Ow.
use paper towels. It's going to be rough.
If you got nothing else, I would say if you got napkins first, I'd try that.
Sure, for sure. But if you have paper towels and nothing else, get the bounty on your booty. That's all you need. That's all you need. Because it'll grab better. It'll feel rougher. But hell, in a time of not feeling anything, locked inside, bounty can provide you to feel something.
This is terrible.
I know it is.
Are you okay?
No, I'm not okay.
Ricky has, like we said in the last episode, looked into the void.
And it didn't just stare back at me. It gave me a big ol' hug and say, you're coming with me, dude.
Yeah, nihilism. Let's do it.
I am in the void. So I am your nihilistic Professor Ricky. Nothing matters. Everything sucks. Buy bounty and wipe your ass with it.
And we are, yes, you've guessed it, sponsored by Bounty.
The quicker picker-upper.
Specifically your dingleberries.
So Ethan, what in the fuck are we talking about today?
Um, well, by the first 6 minutes, I would say everyone would disagree that we're going to talk about anything useful. But yeah, so we actually watched Beastars on Netflix. It was finally released. I had waited until it came out on Netflix to watch season 1.
Same here.
Honestly, as like a silent, what's it called when you like, yeah, silent protest.
Really?
I just like
a silent protest. I'm getting out of chill mode to get ready to talk about this one right quick.
It's just like, I don't know why the hell you would hold us ransom for like months and then release it, right?
That's the Netflix jail. That's what it's always been.
Yeah, I know. It's just, that's dumb.
Yeah. But we are, in fact, talking about Beastars, the Netflix anime at the moment that I would argue is the most hype in the normie news and general media. If you have been kind of keeping up with current news outlets that actually like talk about this kind of thing, they have been unimaginably hype on Beastars. And we're here to talk about maybe why and our own thoughts on it, because we did a little digging on the reviews, and IMBD gave it an 8.1, and My Anime List gave it an 8.4. And on My Anime List, above an 8 is insane.
Yeah,
like it's actually
you may as
insane.
well win an Oscar.
Right. But Ethan, how do you feel overall about this season? I need to hear it. You need to tell the people.
Yeah, it's 24 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Is it? That seems really long.
No, it's not.
It's
no,
12.
It's 12. Maybe
Okay.
13.
Yeah. And so I would say halfway through, I was really hype on it.
So
and then
1 to
after
6,
that,
you were good. And then
yeah. And then after that, I thought it was complete garbage.
Yikes. That's hard to hear.
So honestly, that irks to hear a bit.
It hurts to hear given all of the outlet. And I was still hype maybe until episode 11.
Wow, you really went nearly the full distance.
I was hype. They had a really good end game going, and in my opinion, they slipped on the landing, botched it, and landed on their face. But we will get into why. So, Ethan, 10,000 feet. I know it's been a couple weeks since we watched it because isolation is a thing. We are now recording more episodes. What can you tell us about the plot? What do you remember about the plot?
Great question. So, I believe the plot is mostly about Zootopia. So, no, it's like anthropomorphic animals, carnivores and herbivores, but it's based in a high school. And there was recently a tragedy where I think he was like a little sheep boy or a llama boy or something.
It's a llama boy.
Yeah, the llama boy was killed by what everyone is suspecting is a carnivore.
Interesting you say suspecting. I actually my theory is it's not as my theory is it's not a carnivore. It's not a predator. That's my theory. So I'm curious. It's cool that you said that. But
okay, and then so there's like some tensions betwixt the two groups. Yes.
This man's a linguistia.
Yeah. I mean, read a book every now and then.
Read a book.
No, so there's some strife between them, a little bit more like fear between, I would guess, it seemed like from what they propagated through the show is that previously there had been like semi-harmony between them in the high school, and now it seems like it's kind of breaking down because it hit close to home.
I think that's always the kind of feeling with shows like this. I mean, with Zootopia is obvious. The direct parallel to a show like this is like the one thing you have to talk about when it comes to social commentary with anthropomorphized animals is predator versus prey. And they seem to, like Zootopia, have always had a tenuous relationship and harmony between the two, but they've always had their prejudices and never talked about, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the parallel to like the legitimate animal kingdom is there, right? Like,
right.
They all kind of live together, and then they hunt every now and then, and predator prey. There's just that natural relationship out there. But like through the show, I think they kind of just try to show that like but obviously add the anthropomorphic version, which is just like make these animals like humans and then have like an interaction of a freaking Japanese high school.
It's very much like a Japanese high school, or at least the ones they portray in anime. The structure system is very important. People have rank, people have status. There is a well-known understanding of, oh, this is the guy that's at the top, or this is the guy who's the leader of this club, and there's this club and that club. They definitely put, obviously, a Japanese high school anime spin on all of these people, or sorry, animals, into this show. But when it comes to this high school's like system and the prey predator dynamic, it starts out with this particular crime against the killing of this llama boy, who will go unnamed because I do not remember him at all. But we have our boy, our main character, male lead, Lagasse, who kind of comes in. And what are your thoughts on Lagasse as a main character type role?
Yeah, so he's like, first of all, he's a gray wolf, so he is a predator.
He is a predator.
Relatively like large and strong one, which is like one cool thing I think they did about it was like the kind of upper echelon of predators were still treated as like sort of upper echelon predator.
Right.
Like closer to the apex predator, kind of situation would get more respect from people, or maybe not respect is the right word, but more like people were more wary of them or like pissing them off or something like that.
I think the respect is the right word. But that's the thing, is Lagasse as a character, knowing he is in the upper echelon of apex predators, didn't play the part.
Right, he like tries to be as unthreatening as possible.
Just to fit into a society where, prey behavior is more attractive as a concept in a lot of regards. Predators seem to get the shit out of the stick in a lot of ways, and he's kind of aware of this, but he has this predator mentality still within him if needed to be unleashed. But at the same time,
some would call that instinct.
Someone called it instinct. He has the instinct within him, but at the same time, he represses it and keeps it suppressed to be a functioning member of this current society, which I find to be a very interesting personality, very interesting character dynamic to have as a person or animal, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, so like you'll see him walking around. He tries to make himself seem as small as he can. Like he never bears his
he
fangs.
slumps over and just
yeah.
But he's super tall. He's like super strong to be legit, and he's quick. Like he's he can literally beat somebody up super hard if needed, but he keeps it all kind of packaged in real neat. So
yeah, tucked in tidy.
Yeah, tucked in tidy. So we have our male lead in this show, and then we have our female lead, Haru, the bunny, the garden keeper herself, Ethan.
Yes.
What is your thoughts on Haru?
I hate her beyond all beyond all that is holy. Like she's the worst character ever in an anime.
Man, I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt up and down, night and day, but by episode like 10 or 11, I just couldn't, man. I wanted her to be okay. I wanted her to have a full-fledged journey, and honestly, I think they have written her to have a journey into season 2 and beyond. So I think her arc definitely it's not a think. It's her arc is yet to be completed, but I still didn't like it. I still did not like the trajectory they gave her as a character, and she is just not. She's not. I don't know. What is it about her, man? Because you and I are both on the same page.
She's like very one-dimensional. Like there's nothing there other than her like victim mentality, and they try to like portray it as like this is the animal kingdom's like kind of the reason that she acts this way is because she is prey, right? And I think
Wait, what way is she acting, by the way?
Huh?
How is she acting exactly in this show?
Feel free to elaborate.
Damn it. I was trying to get you to do it, but I'll do it. So in this show,
She's a hoe.
She's a hoe. She's a bunny hoe. She's a hair hoe. Like it's not even veiled thinly, even by like episode 4 or 5. Like what she does in this show is she recognizes herself as prey. So she uses some kind of predatory instinct sexually by sleeping with a bunch of animals. And that's it. Like, and it didn't feel, I guess it kind of felt natural because there was it felt like it had to happen. And the best way I can explain that is
Tell me more. I am so confused.
So with anthropomorphic animals, there are only, in my opinion, only so many stories you can tell. The pros of using animals in a story like this is they already exhibit certain characteristics. Predators are more aggressive. They can be that way naturally because, oh, it's a tiger, it's a wolf, they're gonna be predators. Or prey, oh, they're gonna be meek, they're gonna be small. These stories allow for a natural slotting of characteristics, and it also allows for a natural slotting of certain storylines. And one of them is a prey doing whatever they can to survive is a natural slotting for a story where you use animals like this in this particular way. And, you know, the next step is Haru being a sexual deviant, essentially, to sway other animals that are bigger than her in a certain way by basically sleeping with them. It felt like, okay, that's not creative. That's a natural slotting. There's no creativity. That's a natural way of telling. Oh, I think it hit me when they're both standing by the train, Lagasse and Haru, and she said, you don't know what it's like to be a prey. You don't know what it's like to be someone who has to survive every day and just feel like they're surviving. Like, that's natural beats happening all in front of me. So I don't know. It just, I wish they'd been more creative than making her a slut. Like
well, I mean, it's just like they're using the rabbit ideology of like, oh, they continually try to reproduce as much as possible.
Again, another beat that they used. Yeah.
But it's like, if you're going to use that, animals in the animal kingdom don't go after species like all over the place, right? Like, I don't know, I think they're trying to meld together. It just doesn't work when it's animals. If it was, I think this show would be so much better if it wasn't animals.
I honestly agree.
I think you lose like the instinct part of it, and you lose some of the like when Legoshi smells blood, or you know, any predator really, they'll do this like pretty beautiful scene where you can see it as like a plume essentially of scent, and then you see it go into their, you know, nostrils and schnozzle, and hit the old
whatever the hell
Abdullah oblongata.
They get oblong like lit up, and they like they just freak out. That's actually a good segue into like what the actual plot is about. So the story goes.
Good question.
The story goes in this show that Lagasse is asked by a certain deer, a reindeer, if you will, named Lewis, aka Ruis in the sub, to watch over the outside of a certain building while they do theater rehearsals for a play that's coming up. Now, Lewis,
like after hours, like they're not supposed to be on campus or in this building,
exactly.
So he has him be like the lookout, so it's dark and stuff.
Now, Lewis the reindeer, I'm gonna call him reindeer for the rest of this episode. So the reindeer, do you care for the reindeer? I actually liked him for the most part.
I liked him for the first half.
I liked him for the first 3 quarters.
That's fine.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
I'm willing to accept that.
We'll talk about the ending here in a second. But yeah, he is basically the show's namesake. The Beastar is the animal that I guess gets top dog, pun unintended but also intended, of the school, and they're basically allowed into animal politics and government after that, I guess, from the way that the mayor has been.
Yeah, to be honest, very poorly explained.
Very poorly explained. But the Beastar is like, you know, head honcho, top shit. So this Lewis reindeer guy has the energy of a predator, but also is clearly a prey. So he is trying to emulate something that he's not. respects Lagasse for his predatory instincts and prowess. So asks him to, hey, I am going to be rehearsing this theatrics for this play. Please watch the outside of this building after dark. And as he's watching, Haru, the slut bunny, walks by and he goes into full-blown predator mode and nearly eats her ass. And I mean, like, seriously almost eats her ass, right? And he then has this weird, for the rest of the show, he has this weird relationship between, romantic love and predatory instinct, where he's like, am I, falling in love with her because I consider her my prey, or...
Yeah, like, which makes sense. I think that they're probably two sides of a similar coin. I don't know. I don't know if you felt this way, but for me, it felt like they were trying to be so, like, pretentious and so, like, smart about it. And it's like, to me, that is not a creative, like you said earlier, that is not creative. It's not even really particularly that interesting, because, like, it is a like natural law that we know is that, like, predator animals will try to eat, non-predator animals.
I think that's why it doesn't feel creative. It's almost as if...
That's what I'm saying. Is, like, I think they're just, like, they're using something that exists and everyone understands, and they're trying to be like, oh, aren't we so, like, highbrow?
Exactly. They have it in their hands, and they're like, okay, we can take this in interesting ways, which, honestly, I actually feel like they did, and I'll get to that in a second, but you're right. They have this, and they put this predators eat prey animalistic concept on a pedestal, and they see this as their mainstay of, oh, aren't we interesting? But the way that I find them doing it well is, they have a bunch of characters with different viewpoints on what predators' role in society is. That's pretty interesting. I think it comes into a really good point in a couple scenes. One where they have the quote black market, where they basically eating meat is outlawed because what else are you gonna eat except for each other, right? But the black market is a legit, like, street, like, alleyway that you can go buy meat as a predator, as a carnivore. You can go eat that stuff. And I found that anytime they included that was actually quite interesting, because that was something that, the direct parallel of Zootopia didn't have the opportunity to have, right? They didn't have, Disney is not going to show, kin eating kin, right? They're never going to show that shit. But a show, an anime of this nature has the leeway, the runway to show, hey, what the fuck happens in a world where there are carnivores and there's nothing to eat but each other? The black market exists. And I think there's very interesting way to show that they get their rocks off basically eating meat. And there was the moment where it was with the goat in the alleyway says, I'll give you like 10K to eat my finger, because he knows carnivores are so ravenous for meat. Like, you can have my pointer finger for $10,000.
Right.
And you can fucking eat it right here, like live, fresh. And one of the guys in the group was like, yeah, I'd do that.
And then they all started salivating and stuff like that. But
yeah, that was interesting to me. I'm into that.
I don't know. I thought it was...
You felt that was ham-fisted?
A little bit on the nose.
Oh, yeah.
Like legitimately, the reason that I liked the first half and I didn't like the second half is, to me, there seemed like there was a story and all of this was secondary. And then by the second half, it seemed like this was the primary and everything else was secondary. And I honestly believe the story is better than the circumstances that the story brings to you. Like, I don't think this setting where they're animals and prey and all this stuff is particularly that interesting. I genuinely believe the Zootopia movie was better because they had they set it up like this, but they weren't trying to be like, oh yeah, they're all trying to bang all the time and they're doing all this stuff. They're not like throwing in weird things like that. But they did have a mystery that they went to solve.
They had a nudist colony in Zootopia. Let's not forget that. So they had as much, I think Disney actually tried to give as much as Disney could, because they had they had a nudist colony of animals. So I mean, like, that's basically Disney's version of Beastars saying, "Oh, they're banging everybody." Like, 'cause it's you know, it's nature, baby. It's like it's all
Yeah,
natural.
I don't think
Like,
those are like quite parallel.
they aren't parallel, but I feel like Disney has a family-friendly wall that they could never cross, despite, you know, there are stories to be told beyond the family wall.
Yeah, I think you're saying like they're leaning on the nature perspective.
Exactly,
In that. And
exactly.
I agree with that. I'm just saying the reason I like Zootopia as opposed to this is because I feel like this story died after halfway through, and it just became more about that, and then this weird forced as hell romance.
Okay,
And then
I'm so glad you brought that up, because let's get into that.
okay,
I think the story died after a moment where later, spoilers, sorry everybody, but that's what's gonna happen. You should go watch it. If if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it and come back and watch this. There's a moment where Haru gets captured by a Yakuza lion gang, and Lagasse basically feels that he's in love with this slut bunny. And there is a character he meets twice throughout the series, and could be my favorite character of the entire show. Big Daddy Panda Gohan, I think his name is.
yeah,
He's basically a big, beefy panda who is living near the black carnivore market and considers carnivorism or predatorism as a psychological problem needing solving. One, that is a very interesting way to convey predatorism, you know, is basically having a character treat it like a doctor and a medical issue instead of nature.
sure,
That is compelling.
agreed.
But
And they spent a grand total of 30 minutes with him on screen.
exactly, throughout 3 or 4 hours, they didn't give him dick.
The
on
actual
screen.
interesting part of it, they just straight up didn't even really explore.
That's the worrying part, is they had something really promising right there. That's a really compelling argument. And they have allusions throughout the show of predatorism being a psychological problem to overcome for some that have it. But the slut bunny gets captured by these lions, and Lagasse basically says, "I love her, I want to go save her." And it becomes this very interesting action climax. God bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And he goes and basically fights an entire Yakuza-style group of lions.
Yeah,
as
a den of lions. Wow.
It's literally a den of lions to save the slut bunny. And
I'm sorry, it just feels so like highbrow, and these people think they're so smart for this.
right, exactly. You're totally
And it
100%
really
right.
bothers me because they're not smart.
The action, the way they portray it, they have Gohan.
It was cool.
It was cool. It was a fun time, and he basically using the predatory sense was almost like a power system in the
Sure.
show. And I actually found that kind of compelling from an action standpoint, where he could basically, anytime he managed to find a scent of Haru, aka Slut Bunny, he then went into rage mode, and then he could basically Hulk out and
Or
fuck anybody up.
Bloodlusted.
It's essentially olfactory Kaioken. Like, he smelled and then he raged. It was another interesting take on the whole predatory prey system. But he then goes and fights the main lion Yakuza boss, beats him in an epic, glorious scene, and that right there, in my opinion, is where the show should have ended. Haru and Lagasse should have gotten together. If you're gonna make a romance,
No, I think they leave as friends and that's it. That makes a good show. Here's why.
no, that's fucked.
No.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Literally 5 seconds before she gets captured, she's basically explaining that she loves Ruiz or Luis or whatever.
Ruiz, yeah.
The lights go out and all the nocturnal animals go to try to like protect the ones that can't see in the
prey,
dark.
essentially, yeah.
Like that are from their school. They're like in the downtown area trying to like do this like festival. They're building like a float or something.
Which is actually funny. The festival they're doing is about celebrating the meteor that killed the dinosaurs, which they consider their gods. Like their ancestors. Dinosaurs are their ancestors to the point where they celebrate the dinosaurs.
I didn't even like put 2 and 2 together.
No, they say it in the show that they're
I
making
must not have been listening very much.
Obviously
it
not.
Sucked ass.
They make a giant meteor, a giant rock in the middle of what they call the Meteor Festival.
Yeah, okay, makes sense now. I was wondering why there were so many dinosaurs all of a sudden.
That is what that's for.
Huh.
So they consider them their ancestors, their deities, if you will.
I will. Anywho,
you must.
So you really just completely derailed my thought.
Sorry, you're
okay. He goes to, he knows that Haru's off on her own, and he goes when the lights are out to try to like protect her or whatever. And he hears her calling for Lewis.
Yeah.
He also knows for a fact that Lewis likes and / loves Haru
and slept with.
Yeah, like a lot. And Haru
like a lot.
basically loves Lewis back. Okay, so sure, whatever. I can understand liking a girl that likes somebody else, but then he's all up in there trifling and stuff. Which it's fine to go like make sure she doesn't get killed in the dark or whatever. But she calls out for Lewis, like literally saying like, okay. Clearly, she thinks that Lewis is somebody that loves her and she loves him enough that he's going to come protect her, etc.
It's not just that she called out for Lewis. She grabbed Lagasse's leg and said, Lewis, thank God.
Yeah.
Thought that he was Lewis in the most extreme moment of weakness. And that actually kind of tore me up a little bit because, like, as much as the show kind of fumbled the landing, I root for Lagasse hard.
Sure, he's obviously the best character in the show. Like,
as a man who,
like, not even close.
As a man who did theater tech in my youth,
oh yeah,
in high school and college, I did nearly.
I forgot that you were like I
did nearly a decade of theater tech to pay bills and to get thrills. Not really, it wasn't that thrilling, but sometimes it was thrilling. But Lagasse and I vibe with him. It was a very human. He was a very human piece for a gray wolf, to be completely honest. Haru, absolutely not. But as far as Lagasse,
she was like a weird sex doll. It was like honestly the worst. She was.
That's a really good way to put it.
She was one-dimensional. She was dull. She was like pure victim mentality. And like, I get it. They're gonna say, yeah, she's a bunny. Of course she is.
Of course.
But what concerns me is when you show people like the main characters of shows basically are just like completely beholden to their feelings, and they'll switch from one lover to the next in like every 5 seconds. So like basically what I was saying is she right after that she gets captured, and then Lagasse goes and saves her, and then she instantly falls in love with him.
But
quote
does she?
Unquote. Or she offers up her body as like a sexual repayment. Which is absolutely not okay.
There it is. That's the thing. She didn't fall in love with him immediately.
Well, they don't say, like, that's the problem with her. She has no real emotion. So it's like, is she in love with him or not? We don't know. Does she feel like, okay, he protected me, so now I gotta bang him? I kind of think that's the answer.
Yeah, I think because that's her natural instinct. No, it's funny. It's not her natural instinct. It's the way she would react given her predisposed actions. Like, she has built herself up to protecting herself via her body. So she would offer up her body to anybody that would come around, which is interesting in a way that's not very interesting. But she then, one of the angriest parts in the entire show is that Lagasse this entire time has been swallowing his natural instincts and, not eating prey, but wrestling with it the whole time. Very kind of the reaction to, I want to eat this bunny is not a human thing, but the way he deals with it is a very human process. But then when he finally gets to sleep with Haru and he's very nervous.
This scene was honestly galling.
As a prey, has the reaction to shove her arm into his mouth. And then she says, I can't suppress my reactions as a prey. Ha ha ha. Guess we're not sleeping together. You and the audience get no reprieve. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Reprieve. What do you mean by that?
Well, as the audience, the entire show, we have been waiting for Lagasse to get his. Basically,
Really? Because I was not at all interested in that.
No, not physically, just as relationship wise. He's been basically saying, "I love this bunny. I love this girl. I want to be with her." So this entire season is the audience being like, "When? Like, will she? Will he?" The entire
That's
time.
wild because I just wanted him to eat her the entire time.
You wanted basically,
For real,
like,
I hate it. Haru is one of my top 10 hated characters of all time.
that would actually make for a more compelling story than what ended up. Like, he gave in to his baser instincts and he ate the fuck out of her.
Yeah, and then
that
now
would have been more compelling.
And then now he's trying to deal with it. He's trying to hide it from his students, like that kind of stuff. What I initially expected from the first episode two is that he actually was the one who accidentally killed his friend, the little llama boy.
That would be
right, and so
again,
like
super compelling.
He's been struggling with this the whole time. Then there's like sort of a mystery thing. Either he didn't kill him, or maybe he doesn't know he killed him because he blacked out.
I would like that,
and he joins in the search to find out who killed his little friend.
I would like that he have known the whole time and been wrestling with almost killing Haru for that reason. That he did in fact kill the llama boy,
and it was yummy.
So yummy. The tenderness. I think. I don't know. There are a number of ways you can write this in a very tight one season, but it's clear that the manga is way past one season. Like it's deep, dude. Like there's a whole arc. I'm talking volumes after volumes.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I think this is like pure Tumblr bait. Like pure Tumblr bait.
You're right.
And I know a lot of people aren't going to like that.
You're right.
They're really not going to like me saying that, but I don't see this having like actual substance. Even from like a relationship standpoint and stuff like that. Like if you are Lagasse in this situation, you do not want somebody who throws themselves at you because they're basically repaying you for a kindness. I don't think that's not a win for him.
No,
right.
None of this was none of this was a win for him.
Like I feel bad for him amongst everyone in the show. Like really, really bad for him because he's actually a good dude.
He's a good guy, and I mean, he gets kind of fucked around by the women in this show. I mean, let's talk about Juno real quick. Juno is another
too aggressive.
She's a she wolf. She's a she gray wolf, and she is a freshman for his junior, and she joins the theater club, the same club that he is in this show, and. She is all upons. Like, she's
she's hot to trot.
She is hot and bothered in the most, predatory way. Like, she is ready to pounce this man. And to the point where she actually seems to ruin, for me, any kind of ability for Haru and Lagasse to be, socially together in season 1. Which has made me very sad. The whole scene where she's on stage and calls him out and says, we are the predators. We should lead the charge for the animal kingdom. And he's like, fuck that. Predators shouldn't be that way. Haru, in that exact moment before he gets on stage, is like, I love this man. This wolf, if you will.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. But,
I cannot get over that.
I know. But at least I got I felt like I got some closure. Like, oh my God, she actually does care. And then Juno is just like, fuck the prey, predators rule the world, baby, let's go. And then Haru is like, oh, that's how he thinks. Fuck me. So, man, like, that's where I feel like I fumbled. Right in that exact moment. Where she was like, I love him. Oh, wait, no, I don't. Because he's a predator. And like, I'll be waiting. Basically saying, like Netflix telling me right to my face, better fucking watch out for season 2 and 3 and 4 and maybe 5. Which makes me sad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, it got insane ratings. I don't think I absolutely don't think it deserves it.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Like, so from a animation and art standpoint, very good.
Probably the best CGI I've ever seen.
Sure, like very, very good. I will
say that.
Story was, honestly, they didn't explain what happened to Lewis, or Ruis, whatever you want to call him. He had an interesting backstory. He had
an interesting backstory where basically he was slated in the black market to be meat. Yeah. And he escaped by stabbing a bunch of tigers in the face or lions or something like that. And then a deer found him and was like, you've got that predatory instinct in you. Let's take you and raise you. And he did. And he's now kind of or was kind of the candidate for Beastar, but he had kind of an interesting meltdown. I hated the way his story ended.
Yeah, no shit. It was stupid as shit.
Basically, he melted down because the mayor of this city, aka a lion that has basically preyatized himself, filed down his fangs, got rid of his mane to make himself look more tame, and then told him, hey, your bunny lover, the slut bunny, got taken by the Yakuza, the lion Yakuza, if you will, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if you want to be a Beastar, you need to just deal with that fact. And he had a full fucking meltdown, and I hated it. I hated every second of it. Because he went in and stabbed the Yakuza boss, didn't he?
Yeah, he like goes in after Lagasse had basically paved the way, him and goes in, and waited till they had left, which means like now nobody can help you.
Yeah,
and he shoots him. He actually shoots him with a gun.
Oh, shoots him with the gun. You're right.
Which like whatever, fine, but there's no payoff for any of them there. Like
for no one in the show.
Yeah, like it was completely useless. And like I get it, people do useless shit a lot of times, but generally it's not when they're in the den of the Yakuza. People don't just like literally throw their lives away like that. I don't think. I think that's, I agree with you, is completely dumb.
It felt forced. Everything about the ending for every character felt forced as fuck. I think they had a really good game going. They had a nice compelling story that had a lot of humanistic, concepts and philosophies and storylines. The idea of act on your instincts versus anything like this. But then they fumbled the ending so hard for every single character, and that made me sad. It made me really sad because I think I will watch season 2. I think it was still, despite that, a compelling show to watch. I had a good time watching it all the way through. I guess except for the last 2 episodes, but it was still compelling enough to sit through. But Ethan, for the last part of this episode, I have 2 questions for you. One, the obvious one, despite our issues with the show, the season, why do you think it got such good ratings? I mean, it is
Tumblr bait.
It's killing it on every platform. Even like the ones like Polygon and
Even Polygon.
Everyone who talks about anime is saying Beastars is the one to watch on Netflix. If you had to make a case about why it's killing it, what would you say? Why do you think, if you were saying, hey, this show's a 10 out of 10, you have to write an article about why or you're fired? What would you write? What would you say makes this worth reviewing? If it had to have one.
Look, if you're willing to give them the benefit of saying, wow, this was so highbrow, it's so like smart how they used animal instincts, like I think you can say that and you can be like, wow, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Obviously it was gorgeous, like the art was good, like the representation of maybe a power struggle or whatever between, seems like predators are kind of running the running the show a bit and kind of going from there. But like, it's just so shallow. And like, I feel bad that it's such a big hit and people are clearly clinging to this.
Because we're the contrarians here, by the way. Because we are saying what the other
Apparently
people are
I'm
not.
an asshole.
No, not. How dare you? You're the asshole here. You an animal asshole. But no, it's we're the contrarians saying and not celebrating it to the highest degree from what I've read. Because I
honestly think it was cringy and creepy. Is that okay?
You can. No, go off, sis. Like, do it.
I felt very uncomfortable every time there was a sexual scene.
Yeah, I got that vibe.
And
I got numb to it though. Like I just kind of accepted like, yeah, they're fucking animals. All right. But yeah, I wasn't like, oh damn, she thick or oh damn, she hot. But like, no, I never had a reaction. It just went from like, this is creepy to this is neutral.
I mean, like I was viscerally
visceral,
like uncomfortable. The first scene where she just drops to her knees and gets naked. It's like, what the fuck?
That was very uncomfortable. I think later on,
and then like when Lewis and her are getting it on, they're like saying some creepy shit, and then I'm just like, this is bad.
I got numb to it until the Yakuza boss wanted to strip Slut Bunny down and bathe her in rose petals, and then he eat her naked. That was weird. That got weird. That's where it went from, oh, I'm neutral to this, to this is fucked. This is fucked again. I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously wow.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I think you hit on a good point. I think a lot of people celebrate this show because,
as per usual.
Shut your mouth.
I gotta do it.
You have to do it to them. They basically are all celebrating the show because it goes to places that stories like Zootopia could not but are naturally getting to, right? I think that they are exploring the most adult and mature side of a society with furries. Let's get it through. Like with anthropomorphized animals with furries. And it's something that can't be touched by shows that can make it animated as well as Disney. But they could touch it, and they made it look good, visually good. It was a good to see, like, and I have to say now, I do not like CGI. I hate CGI. It's trash. 2D for me, baby. But this show was the first and maybe the only truly compelling work that made me say, maybe CGI could work. Like, and that was why that's the only reason why I celebrate this show. Is visually it is absurdly stunning. I think it's fantastic visually.
I mean, dude.
What?
I just feel like this show could be better as not animals.
And you're leading into my second question.
And they could have kind of portrayed this predator-prey mentality a little more, like, less on the nose, a little more like I don't know, like, it's not compelling, I don't think, for humans to see this. Like, I think if you did, like, Power Struggle, where, like, yeah, the rich people are clearly, like, have a, power cut above, like, the plebeian masses. I think people could resonate with that more. I don't understand why people are resonating with this situation. I think potentially, like, it was, I think, a little raunchier than most anime are able to go just because they're animals.
I argue not. I think it was
and I have a
more
sneaking
apparent
suspicion that is a large portion of why people like this.
Dude,
it was
interesting.
I think it was way more.
That's interesting.
Way more sexual than most anime are allowed to go.
I actually don't. I don't think that. I honestly think that it just felt more in your face because they're animals. I think a lot of slice of life romance can get this raunchy, but it doesn't feel, the itchiness doesn't feel. It doesn't feel so apparent, or at least a hallmark of the show. But because it's animals and they went there, made it like, oh, they're so bold, they went so crazy. But you touched on another point where when I see shows of a more mature, or actually have a narrative that use anthropomorphic animals, my first and only question is this: can you tell just as a compelling story with the narrative you have with humans instead of animals? Zootopia, Disney's movie, I argue you couldn't, because it actually utilized a lot of nuanced, animal characteristics into the narrative. This show, however, I think you can tell the story with humans and it be just as compelling. Arguably more so. Like, Lagasse being a guy who is just as psychopathic, who's like wrestling with murderous intent.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it's better.
Yeah. And he like nearly kills Haru, a normal little girl, at his school, but he doesn't, and then his psychopathic murderous intent kind of gets mixed in with his romantic love with her, and it doesn't have to be predator prey. It can be just a troubled guy.
Well, it's more compelling because there's people out there that literally cannot tell the difference between whether they like intensely love somebody or if they want to hurt them. Like I said, it's two sides of a similar coin. I think this is not a story that is not told. Like, if you watch in what is it, Investigation Discovery Channel or whatever,
the ID channel,
like, yeah, people that love someone so much, quote unquote, that they're like psychotically like controlling them and stuff like that.
Right, they
that
lock
happens
them
all
in.
the time.
They lock them in. They put them in the basement. They feed them to tigers. I don't know.
Or they'll like abuse them psychologically, stuff like that, to keep them coming back for more. I think that's totally a story that is worthy of being told.
So yeah,
I don't like this story because they kind of portray Haru as being the one in the right here, and just because she's a victim, quote unquote, because she's prey.
But I think, like I said, every beat of this becomes more compelling with a human cast, right? I think Haru's character even becomes more compelling.
Well, we can relate for one.
Right, someone who has been victimized to the point where they turn to their own sexuality as a defense mechanism. Instead of it being, I'm a prey, it's, I have gone through some shit. And that's a much more compelling way of telling every single beat of the story, but just making it human. So it is a little bit disappointing. And I think there's a lot of interesting, like, I think the only reason why the animals as characters work is because the world building. They built a world where, oh, you're the Beastar. You're the one who is, like, what did the Beastar even fucking mean, by the way?
I don't know.
Let's start, like, just saying, like, you're the Beastar. Is it really one high school in one city in one country is the Beastar? Like, fuck me,
like
I
I
guess.
said, I could not figure out what the hell it was about, and they didn't explain it for shite.
Yeah. So I mean, it troubles me to have a story that I argue is a good story. I think the characters were good enough. The story was good enough. I think using animals to tell it.
What was good about this story? It was literally a love story.
It was a love story, and I think
that was it.
And there were some funny moments, and I think they had really good ideas about predator and prey. But I think if they, like I said, I was about to get to, is if you used humans, the story that was already, in my opinion, solid would have been elevated so highly, like a true, actual classic, in my opinion. And everyone's celebrating it right now as a classic.
I like legit didn't think it was that good. Like,
I think it was solid.
I think
it was solid for what it did, but I think it could have done so much better. That's all I'm saying. It made me sad.
In terms of like the relationship, the love, like, you know, stuff like that, I think Toradora is similar. Like, it's not this bestial thing, and it's not like it's not like a prey predator mentality. There's nothing like that. It's just like these two people trying to like woo their people that they like.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
I think that show destroys this show. Like,
I agree.
Absolutely kicks its
agree.
ass.
I agree. And it's important to recognize that. I think part of it is, you know, the characters in Toradora is more compelling. They're funnier. And the story is just more humanized. Maybe for the very merit of using human characters. Like, I got nothing against anthropomorphic animals, but you have to use them in a way that's actually compelling. And this one just didn't hit the mark.
Here's the other thing.
Yeah.
Why at no point was Lagasse like, hey, you don't have to like give it up?
What do you mean? He did, though. A couple times he did. The first time they met, he was just like, deuces. Like,
no, he was weird. He never like came out and said that. He never said like value yourself.
Well, he was also going through his own journey of assertiveness. Like, he was like, being assertive as a predator is actually a societal detriment. Like, it's not good to be assertive as a predator, I guess, to a certain
You don't
degree.
have to be assertive if people are throwing themselves at you. What I'm saying is, if he values her, he thinks she's cool, whatever. Where was that like closed loop where he's like, hey, Haru, value yourself, you know?
If they close that loop, the show would be over.
Well, this show blows.
And they'll do it later. They'll do it later. He tried, but they'll do it later. Did you have a favorite scene? Like, if you had to pick a scene that you like the most in this particular season, what would you grab out and show it to the world? I know mine.
Jeez. Well, first of all, I liked his puppy friend.
Jack?
Yeah.
Jack was so cool. He was cool. He found him with bunny porn and was like, oh,
dude, we should talk.
Dude, we need to talk, dude.
Yeah,
he was like the best of friends. Like, he was the best friend.
I guess the scene where Ruis gets hurt and can't be like the lead of the play, so they give it to Tiger Boy.
Bill.
Yep. And what's his face? Lagasse is basically the guy fighting.
He's like the villain, right?
Right. The villain fighting the lead, who is now Bill. And Bill, for whatever reason, had like some kind of blood on him.
So in this world,
he's like snorting blood.
In this world, illegal drugs include the blood of prey, like herbivores and people who aren't predators. You can get their blood, and for predators, inhaling or tasting this blood will trigger the instinct senses in your brain, and you'll get more virile. It's almost like, it's basically crack. Like, you basically get more, get more hype.
It's like bath salts.
It's you know what, Ethan, you damn right. It's essentially animal bath salts.
Of
So
course.
he has this blood, and Lagasse, being someone who is infatuated with a bunny, the slut bunny, if you will, is very against the idea. So he is pissed the fuck off at Bill. And what does he do to get his revenge, Ethan?
I don't really know. They fight in the middle.
The thing is, he goes on stage and he's supposed to fight him.
Oh, like play fight, and he legit fights.
And
Got it.
He beats the fuck out of him.
While he's punching him, and then, Bill's a tiger, so he's just naturally monstrous.
He doesn't have as many quick instincts, but he is a freak beast of an animal, of a person. So
right, so he gets his ass beat, and he's like, all right, fine, I'm gonna actually fight back now, and he scrapes the living crap out of Legoshi's back
to the point where his back is scarred
and bloody
as fuck. So
and then Lewis comes back on the scene with his broken leg
and beats his ass in play fighting.
Yes, I am the true whatever.
He improv'd and won the crowd over yet again and becomes the king of the school once again.
Yeah.
So that might have been my favorite scene because it was a compelling kind of again, that was another scene where I was asking, could you make this a human scene? And I think, yeah.
100%.
Another kid at the school is like, I can tell you want to kill people. I can feel it in you because I want to do it too. And that would have been a very interesting twist. It
would have been cooler.
Yeah, it would have been much cooler.
Because then you'd be like, wait a minute, did you kill the llama boy?
Yeah, exactly. So the thing with predators and animals being characters, these things are assumed. But when they're humans, you can't assume that. So the twist of him being like, oh, I know you have the same instincts as I do, would have hit so much harder if you were a human-to-human interaction instead of a tiger-to-wolf. Because, of course, they have the same fucking instincts.
Oh, no, they want to eat meat.
Oh,
wow,
they want
surprise.
to catch their prey. Oh, my fucking God. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of beats here that would have actually landed harder if it were humans, and that's not saying that just because, animal characters are weird. It's that they do work in some situations.
Yeah,
but
also
not this one.
Visually, the scene where he jumps over, the first time he attacks Haru in the dark and it's foggy.
That was pretty rad.
They animated that to the absolute nines. They did
great.
Cool kind of accents to his eyes and stuff as he was diving through, space.
And that moment where he's sitting there and wrestling with his own personification of his instincts where another wolf is talking to him. That was pretty rad. That's what I'm saying. Visually, just eyes to screen, this show is sublime. It's great.
Yeah, it's good for sure. And then dang it, there was one more. Oh, the OP, I think, doesn't it, is a claymation.
It's claymation or stop motion. Again, it's
very
celebrated
good.
as one of the good best
cool.
OPs of the year, maybe a couple years, and I agree. It's quite good.
Very cool.
Very good. And I like, and I'm a big fan of the kind of jazzy big band style. I mean, that's if you ever watched Blood Battlefront Blockade or Blood Blockade Battlefront, Triple B as we call it in our group chat.
The second one.
Yeah, the second one. We love the ED of that, which is Madison Square Garden. The first ED. I don't know if you ever heard it. I definitely shared it.
I mean, I watched the show, so
yeah, it's the one where they're all on stage and they're doing kind of duets with each other, and it's a kind of jazzy big band. And
I'm not putting two and two together, but I think it's a little JoJo-esque, very bombastic.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So it's got that vibe to it. So I'm into the visuals and the music. The score is great, but outside of that, it starts to fall short, which is sad. Despite all the good reviews.
What's your rating there, Rick?
Ooh, I was hoping you didn't ask me that, but
all right, I'll do mine.
Out of 100 dead llamas, 74.
Wow.
I know that
is actually lower than I thought you were gonna say.
A little lower for us, but I mean, it scores big marks in the visuals. It scored big marks in individual characters, some of them, but not all of them. The story was solid, but it fumbled the landing. It didn't quite land for me. And I know this is season 2, and I will watch season 2 in pure hope that Haru gets her shit together, because she can be a good character if she gets her shit together. That's my whole thing.
Okay,
So,
I will say it is 69 dead Harus
Whoa!
out of 100 dead Harus.
That's a sex number, my dude. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
I guess this show really rubbed off on me. I'm a complete
no!
degen now.
He used rubbed off. That's another
I'm a
sexual
degen.
term. He's a deviant in his own right. So 69, that's actually, again, lower. I would thought you were going to come in the low 70s with me, but you went lower than that.
I was actually going to go 72, and then I'm like, sex number, haha.
It was within
Yeah.
it was within the realm of the sex number.
Yeah,
You just had to,
it was within the tolerance band,
I'm
so I
into
just
it.
pulled it down.
Pulled that whole shit down.
The other thing I'll say is I will watch season 2 just because I have a podcast.
We do?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, what's good?
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, guys.
What's going on?
But other than that, like, if Haru doesn't die in the next season, I'm gonna freak out. I'll actually lose it.
YouTube gang saw me fall the fuck.
And you know
over.
what?
If she doesn't die in the next season,
I would
I'm
actually be
fucking
so
over it.
down if Juno dies too, because she was so aggressive and annoying.
Now, see, I think she didn't work in this season, but I think she will be a huge hand in the next season, and I'm actually excited to see her role.
Also, like, definitely creeped out. They kept saying, "Wow, she's so beautiful." It's like it's a fucking wolf.
It's a wolf.
Who do
Chill out.
like? I don't care. And they like put blush on her and stuff.
She ain't thick. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't have.
It was
I didn't
so
have the,
weird.
I didn't have the compulsion. Like, oh, she hot. She's so thick. Like, you know, if you got like Agami got killed and you get some of the characters on screen, I'm like, yeah, they fucking
Yeah.
they fucking thick. But you know, with this show, like they're like, oh my god, she's so beautiful. Aesthetically, it was good looking, but I didn't get like, oh damn.
But like you didn't feel it, or
didn't
at least
feel it.
I didn't. So I'm like,
I didn't feel it.
Okay, very cool.
She mounted Lewis in that one scene, but it was definitely not even sexual. They
Yeah,
tried to make it that way.
Mount.
It was a death mount. It was a threat
yeah.
mount, aggressive mount. So, man, we gave our thoughts. We will watch season 2. I think it's important that we do, given all of the news.
I think we have to do it for the culture at this
We
point.
gotta do it for the culture.
We gotta do it for the people that don't think this was like a good show.
But I would, but I would argue that we are very contrarian on this particular.
I don't
show.
know how. I mean, I guess like in the comments of this video on YouTube.
Yeah.
Please tell us why we're wrong and why it was so good.
Seriously, slam us.
I
and
know
tell us.
Danny and Sam love this on Anime Summit. So
don't- and the thing
please
is-
tell me why I'm wrong.
I don't hate it. A 74 isn't hate. It's solid. It did not.
That is definitely a solid number.
It didn't reach the acclaim that all of these, even my anime list, it gave it an 84 technically out of 100. The fuck? How?
Which is basically a 95 because
That's more than some of the
8.5 is 100 on my anime list.
That's more than some of the best shows we've seen last year.
Yeah.
How the fuck is that real? So, you know what? Slam us.
How's that for real?
Yeah, how's that for real? Slam us. Tell us on
Well, don't
YouTube.
slam us.
No,
Just
no.
tell us why we're
Slam
wrong.
us. Email us. Instagram our DM our Instagram and everything. Just tell us why we're wrong because I want a compelling argument about why this show should be celebrated the way it is. And if we can't see one, then we're right.
And that's true.
We're kind of right.
If you don't
so
say anything, I'm right.
we're right. And maybe Ethan's 69 is the correct number.
Yeah, I guess I'll go on Mal and change it.
Give it a hearty 6.99.
We should hack in. Yeah, let's hack in and change it.
I'm into it.
You got any more questions?
Nah, man, I'm good. I
Great.
want to see I want to see season 2. Like, yeah, that's the one thing I want
I
to do.
don't
'cause
want to see it, but I will watch it.
I do want to see it because there's a lot of things they should have wrapped up they didn't, and here's the hoping it's a better season. So I think that's it. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to us and watching us. If you're on YouTube, hey, thank you for seeing my caveman face.
Right.
It'll only be getting more caveman as the quarantine continues. Stay at home, wash your hands, listen to podcasts like ours.
Yeah, specifically.
We just recorded a podcast guest spot with Anime Compost. You should go listen to their stuff. It's fantastic. If you want to just listen with your ears and not your eyes, go ahead and check us out on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher. What's some other ones we have? We have some more now. Anywhere you get your podcast.
Yeah, let's
fix. But we
just
have
say
some-
that for now.
Yeah, for now. But we have others. So anywhere, more places you get your podcast fix.
I would say generally wherever podcasts are promulgated.
Yeah, for sure.
But thank you guys for watching at home. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell button if you want to be notified every time we do upload a video.
Please,
We are planning to do a tiny bit more video, a tiny bit more podcast, potentially bonus Thursday episodes.
When we're in quarantine, we got nothing but time on our hands.
I wouldn't go that far, but we do want to make sure
have
that
nothing but time on my hands.
There we go.
So you'll be a little bit of Rick rants, which
so
probably what I'll do.
We'd like to maybe, I mean, obviously this is gonna change your life, but I don't know, give you another like hour or 35 minutes, whatever, of just like turning off your mind and talking about anime. So.
Yeah, some loose form stuff, but I think that's good for bonus episodes. So you can just listen to us rant while we're watching in quarantine, things we can suggest, stuff in our backlog that we have yet to hit until the world's been ravished by a virus and we have time to stay inside and hit our backlog. So we will give you the recommendations that your professors will provide. If you want more eye candy, go to our Instagram at Weebology.podcast. We got memes on news and updates on the coronavirus situation. I might bleep
through
that
the
out.
format of meme.
Yeah, through the format of meme. If you want to hit us up directly, which we have had people do now, thank you for actually emailing us. Weebologypodcast@gmail.com. You email a show, we will watch it. Probably next episode we might talk about the one we got suggested the first time for the first ever suggestion.
Yeah, totally.
We'll see. I haven't watched it yet, but I think I will.
I'm halfway through.
Now that Food Wars is done, but we won't reveal which show it is quite yet until the next episode. We may have already said it, but I don't care.
I don't think we have.
Cool. But until that next episode, I'm Ricky.
And I'm Ethan.
And this has been Weebology.
Deuces.
Stay safe. Wash your hands. Go inside.
Face masks.